Good afternoon, Africa. Good afternoon, African Confessions. So we are back with more messages. There is a message that I want to share with you guys that was forwarded to me by one of our admins. The message reads like this. Good morning, African Confessions. My story goes on like this. I was working for the government as a primary dentist, but most people in my life think that I am a dentist. I am a dental therapist, and my job is to treat preschool, primary, and secondary school children under the supervision of a dentist. However, this job, I have done it for the past 20 years, and I can say, even though I don't have the certificate to be a dentist, but by experience, I am a dentist. I moved to another town. Then I later found a job in the private practice, and I was working for a certain doctor/dentist, and I noticed that he was making a lot of money. I also noticed that I was the one who was working and bringing all of this money, and he was just doing nothing. I was tired of living on salary to salary, and I wanted more for myself. If this was an easy thing, I was going to just open my practice too, but unfortunately I didn't have any money to buy the equipment that is needed. My mother is someone who is involved in witchcraft things, so this thing of being around rituals and herbs was not something that I was afraid of. She is the one who directed me to this old guy who was going to help me out. This guy is around Joburg, and all that I was supposed to do was to bring a tooth that was not rotten, and it was supposed to belong to a white person. Where was I going to get a tooth of a white person? This was quite a very difficult assignment, and at first I was scared. So this tooth had to belong to someone who was alive and not someone who had died. At first I was so scared, and they told me that I had to take my time, and whenever I'll be ready, I'll have to get in touch with them. I went back to my job, and I continued to live on hand to mouth. Since my husband was not employed, the salary was just not enough. The reason why my husband was not working is because my mother is the one who told me that we had to fix the guy, work on him, and confuse him so that I'll have more power over him. I'll write to you whenever I'll find the time how I got this guy. This story is just for another day. Since I had used herbs and other stuff to confuse my husband, and I had total power over him, I was the man in this marriage. Yes, I was the man, and I was the one who called all the shots, because this guy was not even employed. He would just spend the whole day at home. Back to the story. I had to move very fast, so I ended up finding one lady who came to the office to take her tooth off. She showed me the tooth, and I went on to remove the wrong tooth. I had to act very confident. With confidence, I looked and I saw the tooth that I wanted, and I went on to remove that tooth. She was very happy that finally she had removed that rotten tooth that was giving her a lot of headaches. Then happily she went back home. Not long after that, she came back to the practice. She was angry, she was shouting, she was screaming. She had discovered that I had removed the wrong tooth, and in innocence, I also acted very surprised as she was. I had kept that tooth somewhere else, and I was ready to head for Josie. I tried everything that I could. I tried to speak with that lady. I apologized, but that lady was so angry. She was so cross with me, and she went on to sue me for her tooth. Whilst she was in the process of suing me, I then rushed to Josie, and I lied to my poor husband that I had to take our son to see a specialist because he was not feeling okay. As for my husband, I was just telling him. I was not asking him because I had power over him. Even if he did not want me to go to Josie, there was nothing that he could do or say about it because I had power over him. Upon my arrival in Johannesburg, I went on and met an old Indian guy who did the ritual for me. It was quite a scary ritual. He took the tooth, and it was dedicated to the devil himself. When he dedicated this tooth to the devil, even my heart started beating hard against my chest, but I wanted this. They brought out a contract. Then I had to sign a deal with the devil. And I then stayed for a week while everything was being processed. When I left Jozi, I left Johannesburg as a rich woman. Overnight, I was just wealthy. I was so rich. I was given loads and loads of cash, new money from the bank. You know, when you get money, new money from the bank, it will be smelling so good. I smelled that money all night long. I even slept with that money in my bed because it smelled so good. I then managed to purchase all the machinery that was needed to start the business. There were so many terms and conditions, but I didn't care. And those terms and conditions, some of them that I was given, I'm not able to share with you. But if I ever get the courage and the strength, I will write to you again. As I am typing this message to you, I just got a notification. At the moment, very soon, load shedding will be starting. So I need to send this message before my Wi-Fi switches off. When I arrived back home, I just told my poor husband. He didn't even bother to ask me where I was. For many nights, I had not returned back home, but he did not even ask me. He was just happy that I was back. When he asked me where I had got all of that money, I just told him that someone so good, he had donated the machinery to me, and I was ready to start my own practice. You know, when you have money just changes everything. Even if you say that you want to start a new business, that can happen in a single day. Since I couldn't start my own practice, I then found a doctor who was going to open a practice under his name. Since I was not qualified, or rather the Department of Health would not allow me to open my own practice. So I had to work with someone who was highly qualified to help me start this practice. My dear, if I ever get the strength and the courage, I know what will eventually happen to people like me if we go out into the public and try to speak about everything that we did. If you do a deal with the devil, one day he will come looking for you. But if I am still alive, if I will write to you again, I will try to tell you what happened from the moment when I arrived in Jozi, from the moment when I was taken to that old Indian guy who did the ritual for me. I will tell you the strange things that happened the moment that he took the tooth from me and dedicated that tooth to the devil. I will tell you all the details that happened when I signed the deal with Satan himself. This is my story for now. Please share my story with your listeners, but hopefully I'll be back. Yo, guys, things are happening. That was an email that was forwarded to me by one of our admins. I just pray that she is going to come back with her full story.